the AU Election Observer Mission is very pleased to say that the elections were peaceful, and on election day, August 8th, the population went into the polling stations in large numbers, and the people were permitted to vote in a manner which met the standards set in Kenyan law, which was also consistent with the policies of the African Union.
The mission is gratified to see that isolated incidents and late opening of stations in some areas did not overshadow the peaceful conduct of the elections.
I have said publicly, and I think that the news media have shown this, that there was a good turnout, a healthy turnout, strong, very patient, very calm. We saw a voting process that was implemented as it was supposed to have been.
And we continue our discussion now, and I still have my expert guests with me in studio, Delano Kilu and Professor Macharia Munene. I'll start off with you, Delano, first, because this is the first election that we have seen a large number of women participants in it. We actually are going to have for the first time 3 female governors of the 47 counties. Women's participation here, what do you make of it?
You've raised a very important point, Beatrice, because now we're beginning to see a change in terms of the demographics of elections. Apart from the youth, you're now talking about the gender aspect where we see women leadership beginning to rise up in Kenya. And it's causing, there's one effect that this is going to bring. It's going to begin to bring a flattening of ethnicity. And our traditional strongholds or tribal strongholds will begin to slowly phase away as we begin to see the emergence of what we call a truly global pattern of women, very strong women in leadership. If you look at the women who have been selected in the 2017 general elections in Kenya, these are women who are tried and tested. A lot of them have sterling careers, have gone through challenges, have faced negativity, have faced public outcry, and have been able to still hold their heads above the water, go into a contest that is fought very hard, and come out on top. So it also is a stamp of approval that the communities, that the men are also saying that if this woman is in place, she is going to be able to help me to reach my absolute potential. That is a very indicting statement, the type of leadership we're raising in this society. Right,
Professor Macharia, this is very much still a patriarchal society, though. Is that changing now?
Well, slowly, but it has not changed. And to agree with Delano, in this election, the women who have been elected because they are capable, not because they are women. They were elected because they were the most capable in that particular place. They just happen to be women. And if you mention them, look at look at Charity Ngilu. Charity Ngilu is the one who broke the mold on presidential.
Charity Ngilu has been a presidential candidate.
Yes, she's the one who broke the mold back in 1997. And she's a force to reckon with. So she's taken over Kitui just by storm, and just wiped out those guys because she's Charity Ngilu, and people know her as a forceful woman. Senate, we have women senators, elected, not nominated. So you have Susan Kehika, you have Kamar. So, these are the ones who are elected to positions because they are the ones. You can see on the picture that's coming up, voters are very intelligent, they are very discerning, they are looking at the quality and the ability of a particular person, not the tribe, nor the gender. Say, this person can do it, we want things done, give her or give him. And that is a very good picture. So in Parliament, we are going to have more women elected than ever before, in this case, which is a very positive thing.
It is a very positive thing in your view, Professor Macharia. Delal, I want to come now to what we can expect from the incoming administration. This election, from President Kenyatta's view, was fought on a number of things. Free secondary education has been promised, free healthcare, maternal healthcare, agricultural subsidies, infrastructural expansion of infrastructure. What can we expect President Kenyatta's administration to focus now on in his final term?
The bar has been set very high. In his final term, we expect to see that President Kenyatta is going to be very, very quick to restructure his operational organization that falls under the executive and the presidency. We are very likely to see a reshuffle. We're very likely to see a number of new agencies that are set up to be able to help him to fulfill the promises that have been made. We already saw before this election that there was a setup of a presidential delivery unit. That unit will be expected to expand. We're also going to see, of course, the implementation of the free secondary education at a tuition level. We're going to see healthcare move and transition into what we call universal healthcare, which is the only model that can possibly work for all Kenyans and is enshrined in the Constitution. We're going to see very large infrastructure projects begin to take place. In the last budget, which is 2016-27, or rather 2017-2018, the Cabinet Secretary for the Treasury, Henry Rotich, mentioned in his speech that very large infrastructure projects will be carried out by the private sector. That means we can expect in this term of President-elect Kenyatta that we will see 50 to 100-year projects being commenced. Projects that have long lifespans, projects that are going to impact 3-4 generations down. Will be very audacious projects are going to be undertaken both by public sector and by private sector. So you're going to see what we would call really a putting down of the foot on the pedal to accelerate development, to open up to more foreign direct investment, and to open up opportunities not only for Kenyans. One of the biggest challenges that President Kenyatta is going to have to deal with, apart from flattening ethnicity, is going to be the aspect of dealing with the youth. Kenya has one of the largest youth populations, very intelligent, very aware, very well-skilled, but without clear opportunities for employment in the future. So we will see the setup or the increase in opportunities for the youth.
Right, Professor Macharia.
Yeah, he has already started the reconciliation effort. If you listen to his speech yesterday, it was a good, not concession because he won, but reconciling speech. And he tried very hard to be humble in victory. And he went out of his way to say, please, the election is over, the campaign is over, please come. We have a lot of things to do together. So that tone, I think, was a very good starting point. Now, his other activities, because he's just continuing, the SGR and the LAPSET, I think these will be
those are infrastructural projects.
Yes, and they will be expanded, and they should be expanded because they have certain benefits. They open up new towns, which means creating jobs. And so jobs, and the jobs creation, that's wealth, which will bring more money into the country to get into bigger projects. So the widespread infrastructure, roads, the railroads, airports, that will be done in order to make connectivity faster, better, more efficient, creating jobs, and especially for the youth, because these are the things that the youth can get into. And when you have a new town coming up, who can build it better than the energetic youth who have new ideas? Create an enabling environment for job creation. It is not for the government to provide jobs, because it cannot. It depends on our taxes to do things. But it can create an environment where we are all going to be creating jobs. And it benefits from that because the government will tax us from the money we make, which is very good. So the enabling environment for investments, whether it's the foreign direct investments, whether it's generating local people to be more curious, more innovative, all those things are going to be part of his. Then the social programs, the education, and the health, because these are lagging behind. There's been a lot of innovation and attempts.
Right.
That one, then you can see by, I think he wants, but by the end of his second term, and he cannot have any more, people can be seeing the visible benefits across the country. That will make him very happy, and he'll be working on that, if nothing else.
Right. I want to get your final comments, and Delano, I'll start off with you here with your final comments, though. Many people have said this has been a successful election domestically and internationally. International observers gave Kenya the thumbs up when it came to its electoral process, the processes and participation and throughout. What impact has Kenya's election had on the region? Has Kenya's election had on its international image? And has Kenya's election had on its domestic situation?
Kenya, for the first time in its rather long history, has become a true leader by having an election that has this type of veracity, that is endorsed by the international community, that is endorsed by Africa and regional observer groups, and by African leaders. It means that Kenya has come of age. Kenya is becoming its true leader in every form, And Kenya will then play a very important role in helping to hold the hands of other nations that want to take the step across from their traditional ways of doing things in an election and into systems that do work for over 40 million people. The next thing you're going to see in Kenya, of course, because we now have a much more tested type of leadership that has come into place, is you're going to see the rise of the counties. The counties are going to rise up very strong because their leaders know that they have very little time to bring development, and devolution will finally kick in into this country. The third thing you're going to see is a 21st century security organization in Kenya coming into play. The most advanced technology, the advanced training, advanced tactics and weapons will be deployed to protect the infrastructure and to protect the dream of future Kenya. So these are kind of things that we can expect to see in the next couple of years.
We'll leave it there for the moment. Gentlemen, Professor Macharia Munene and Delano Kelu, thank you very much for joining us on the program. And that's all we have time for this week. But thank you to my guests for their insights. Delano Kelu Lilongwe, he's a security expert, Protective and Safety Association of Kenya, and Professor Macharia Munene, Africa analyst and lecturer at the United States International University. Do remember, you can join the conversation online through Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And do join us again next week for more Talk Africa. For me, Beatrice Marshall. Goodbye and thank you.